Hello folks, Typhon Carter here, and I bring to you a Smogon Premier League 17 matchup. This is a week 1 showdown between Skyrio of Team Raiders and Gilbert Arenas, former Washington Wizards legend. Nah, I'm just kidding, it's Marcop, everybody, and he's playing for the Cryonicles. Again, both these players played an invitational. I won't really delve too deep into this, but Marco P, he's got PDC backing him up as PC is the manager of the Cryos. Whereas Skyrio, he's got Loro T-Wash and then probably any like other French players probably backing him. So this is gonna be an interesting matchup, just to see how this all unfolds. That said though, let's jump right into this. Kingdra leads, Scizor lead. This Scizor is almost certainly Scarf Scizor, whereas it's Kingdra, I'm expecting this to be Specs. So I think the question here is going to be, what's Marcop's water resist? Go U-turn here into the Blissey, so probably a bulky offense, and that is a very frail Blissey. Might be like, it's probably got Shadow Ball, it's probably got, S-Toss, that kind of thing, but CB-Tar, it looks like, is going to enter into the game. Gets a huge pursuit KO on the Blissey very early into the game. So there goes the water resist. And spikes are going to be up. And now the question is, what's the secondary switch? The secondary water switch is Latias, which is also Tyranitar food. So this is going to be interesting because it's going to come down to whether Skyrio can, find those turns to really get the Tyranitar in to the game to put pressure on Latias. And then whether or not Marcop can pivot around this Kingdra. So that could be quite annoying. But that being said though, let's keep going. Got a T-Wave here, and the Kingdra is going to be paralyzed, so was probably expecting a Tyranitar switch. And now the Tyranitar comes into the game. Going to recover here. This is probably reflect Latias, so it will probably survive this. Crunch going to do over 50 to this Latias, but now Marcop knows that he can safely switch out. Skarmory is going to be sent into a game here, and it's going to barely do any damage, and Heatran is the follow-up. So this looks like a student of Sinnoh style French offense from Skyrio, whereas for Marcop, I mean, if he's got PC building for him, then I expect there would be a Don fan in the back. That's something he's been a big fan of, and just like a very fat team in general. That said though, game state wise, 10 turns in, like Skarmory's almost got full hazards up, so Skyrio has to be very careful of letting hazards kind of overrun his team. Now if Skyrio say has a Latias, which on this Kingdra style structure, like if it's like double drag of Healing Wish, man, it's a little bit more manageable, but even then, I think Skyrio could have sent in the Heatran a lot earlier into the game. Heatran's gonna be shown to be leftovers, and it's gonna throw a Toxic out here, so that's a huge lure there, and that's going to put the Latias on a timer. And Kingdra looks like it's gonna be sacrificed to hazards, so that Latias can't really do much, and Marco gets the turn wrong there. Could have recovered, but we'll probably get a Thunder Wave off before it goes down, or not. Skarmory looks like this is Shed Skarm. And Tyranitar going to come in and... Oh, that's, I don't know about that. Really? I mean, Skyrio probably could have sent in Heatran and then, threatened to Skarm out that way. But I suppose Skyrio didn't really see another opportunity for Tyranitar to come into the game safely. But for Marcop, that's gotta suck because like that Skarmory is so important for keeping that Metagross at bay, and then being able to whirlwind stuff out. And really, I think that was probably the only window where Skyrio was ever going to be able to fish for Stone Edge crit, and gets it. Donphan's going to be a follow-up here. Donphan probably going to get the spin off, and it will do just that. But now this Heatran looks really threatening, and oh, that's a devastating crit. Because now this Donphan at about 55% can actually get KO'd by Heatran depending on the bulk investment. And it doesn't check the Metagross nearly as well. And Marcop's just got to let that go. And now Latias is the follow-up here, which is interesting. Marcop's got a T-Wave here. I probably would follow it up with Scizor, honestly. But this Latias doesn't have much juice left in the tank. And yeah, I don't know about that. But Bug Bites here, gonna do decent damage. And Skyrio probably just gonna trade this down. And he's gonna explode, gotta get the explosion off. Now, what is Marcop's last? This is double pink blob on Marcop's end. And what this tells us is that this is probably a Calm Mind Clefable, based on this style of structure, because there would be no reason for Marcop's team to be running a Blissey as well, you know, on top of like another Calm Mind Clefable, for example. So, like, you know, team-wise, this is a pretty cool structure. Now, as for Skyrio's last here, not 100% sure, but I have some ideas of what it could be. And Fire Blast does a lot there, and T-Bolt won't quite get the job done, but will get a para. And Latias is going to be, it's going to be sacrificed here, probably try to set up a last Pokemon Clefable situation. And going to Soft Boil here, gonna get taunted. Gonna need some full paras to get out of this. Ice Beams here. Fire Blasts. Oh man. T-Bolts here, and yeah, the Clef is just gonna go down. So Skyrio's gonna win this game, and he's gonna start the season 1-0. Marcop going to start season 0-1. Not the start he was expecting. I mean, as for Skyrio's last, from what I was informed, I was told the last were Latias and Gyarados, but I can't say for sure. But you know, just for the sake of a talking point, let's just say his last was Lati and Gyara. Could he have won this game? I think it probably would have been in Marcop's favor if Skyrio doesn't get that Stone Edge crit early, because that was a huge part of Marcop's defensive core that was kind of taken out of the equation. But Skyrio had a good early start, being able to get rid of the Blissey early. So that meant that Heatran was much more of an immense threat. Toxic is a nice touch on Heatran, like Toxic plus Taunt. Heatran being able to get around something like a Clefable, being able to put Latias on a timer, so that's huge, because Latias is normally very, very tough to kill. And we already see kind of the effects that the Sleep Ban is having in terms of team building, because of options like Toxic Taunt Tran being used more now, because you can now use Heatran to say focus on other threats such as Latias, such as Blissey, such as Clefable, because normally you wouldn't really think to use Toxic because of something like Breloom kind of just, you know, coming in. And then but the idea works here, because for example, if something like Breloom comes in, now it cannot threaten sleep on you, and because of that, this means that the Heatran can, like, you know, throw a Toxic out, and then Breloom comes in, it's like, oh, I cannot stay in on this, and then boom, Fire Blast, and then you still nail stuff like Gyarados, Kingdra, or Latias on the Switch. So, you know, good stuff there from whoever built this team for Skyrio. But Marcop's team, you know, I think it's just like a sound. It's a solid team. I like kind of what he has going here with the double blob. But for sake of hypotheticals, let's say the T-Tar does not Stone Edge crit the Scarm and it gets whirlwinded out. Depending on what's revealed here, the other way I think Skyrio could have won the game would be, for example, getting a Healing Wish off, like maybe Healing Wish the Lati onto something like a Gyarados, and then I try to set up a last Pokemon Gyara situation and try to flinch your way past everything. That's one way. That's an alternative win path I could have seen. For Marcop, I mean, I think like not the Donphan being crit was also pretty bad, because I think that put it in range of Heatran's Fire Blast. Again, I don't know the exact defensive bulk investment for sure. And CM Clef could have been potentially threatening, but I digress though. Because that said though, I mean this Heatran was kind of a problem. And anyways though, if you guys enjoyed this video, like, comment, subscribe, and I will see you guys next time.